Welcome to another episode of Lifestyles of the Strange and Exotic. This is going to be a camera haul, rant, discussion. Now, I'm on the hunt for a halfway decent camcorder, but I want a pocket camcorder, which I just now discovered that's what they are called. I have been filming on my Nikon Coolpix, which takes 30-minute segments. Now, I went into Kmart after my Goodwill haul, which I'll be filming shortly, and just looking for a bigger, gigabyte SD card, seeing maybe they had something on sale because I knew what the average was in Walmart. Walk in for a card, come out with a camera. Now, this is what I'm filming on now. I've always liked cameras that had like a video function to them. I just, sometimes just one picture doesn't cut it. You want the motion, especially if you're like filming water or nature scenes, like the movement of nature, basically. So I've been looking into, something portable. And usually when I use a camcorder, it's usually just been to film like the good parts of a race. So I like a camera that gives me enough time to capture what I want to capture without having to like try to pick and choose what you want to capture. Then you like capture the crap and miss out good stuff because you're like, oh, gotta only take this because I don't have enough time. So I want something with a little longer recording time. So the first camcorder I really kind of had experience with was my father's camcorder that I don't know if he bought or if he got from his brother, I don't know, but it was the old VHS camcorder. Now you try going 5 hours during a race doing this, with a VHS camcorder, it's like holding your baby like in this position for 5 hours straight. It gets a little uncomfortable. Plus there's like no room and you needed like a whole, suitcase to carry the thing in. I'm like, well, but props to the VHS, you had like, what, 6 hours worth of recording time? Though the quality was probably not, wow nowadays, but you had a lot of time to work with. Of course, you couldn't really edit it unless you had like the edit droid or something, or worked for LucasArts or something. So that was that. Well, having complained enough about it, my then boyfriend at the time, who became my fiancé, who is now my husband, bought me this for Christmas. Now, it's a Sony Handycam. Who Carl Zeiss is, I have no idea. But it's a Carl Zeiss lens with a 40 optical zoom. Now, the zoom function, awesome, but you can't hold still enough, so when you're zooming, you're like, there's just no way to zoom and hold still long, to capture that you're not moving feeling. And you can't adjust for that. I don't care how fancy your digital camera is. The camera shake option just is a pointless mess because you're still moving. But, I learned hold the top part of you still if you're going, because we go to New Hampshire and it's a 1 mile track, so you get all the action. So you pick your spot, car comes in, junior fan by the way, hold your camera and move to the waist as you're holding your camera on your target, following the target. You move your waist. Don't move anything else but your waist. A lot easier on the arms, and you get a smooth pan. Whether that works for other people, but that's what works for me. Now this was great with the zoom and the fact that it's so much lighter than the VHS. My problem is these discs only hold 30 minutes. You can take 60 minutes, but you have to use a double-sided disc. So you have to fiddle with this, move it down, because even if you move it as far down as you can, it's still kind of awkward to open the case. Flip the disc around, close it, do this, then you have to fiddle with the settings to get it all situated, and by that time the half hour's over, So I never liked that. I liked the little itty-bitty screen, which was kind of cool, which I wish the other kind of camcorders had. And it has the it had a memory chip that was, one, kind of hard to find, and two, I don't know how many other cameras use these things. It's called the Memory Pro Duo, and I'm just not impressed with it. I'm used to the SD cards. They're easy, wonderful. It has some nice functions and stuff like that, but it's still awkward if you want to take like nature walks and stuff like that. You're like, with a camcorder, you pretty much look like a voyeur, But still, you're limited to 30 minutes, plus getting the videos and editing the videos takes a million years with the software, and it's just an awkward transfer of data. So good, but not quite what I want to use it for. It's pretty much just for the race. Another Christmas present, maybe a couple of years before, right, the same fellow. And this is my original camera, which is a Canon Powershot A520. And it's a great camera, and it still works. And I've had this for about a decade, so it was kind of, for me, time to upgrade. I usually upgrade when I come up against a wall where I want to do more, and the technology just won't let me go that next step, which happened to my first computer. I wanted to get a certain program, or was looking into something, and I think it was in Best Buy, and the guy goes, "Oh, what do you have?" 486. And you could tell he was stifling a laugh. I'm like, okay, when they're starting to laugh at you because your computer is that old, it's time to upgrade, so that's that story. So it was a similar concept with this camera. And I never liked the fact that it was an itty-bitty little, I think it's about a 1.5-inch screen. Especially, even when you're doing macro, it's like, you know, the very close-up shots, which I usually do with my jewelry and what you see in the stores. It's like microscopic. So that was never a function that I was thrilled with. One thing I do like about this camera is that the memory card slot and the battery card slot are two separate slots. And I'll get to the dislike of the other camera regarding that shortly. The zoom is a 4x zoom, which could be better, but not bad. And this was the first camera that I had that had a movie function. But the movie function is in 30-second clips. 30 seconds. The time that you can take to hold your breath. Yeah. I mean, unless your life is really, really fast, that's just not going to cut it, you know. But as far as a point-and-shoot camera, really, really good. But, you know, it's good for now as a backup camera. And for me, though, since I have microscopic itty-bitty midget hands, it's still kind of bulky in my hand. I don't know why, really. Maybe it's just this part, but I don't know. A good camera. Canon makes a good brand. 10 years, still going strong. After a show, I used that money and bought myself this one, the Nikon Coolpix. Now, I was hunting for a camera. Now, usually when I do electronics, they have to fit certain criteria. I want to do certain things, and this particular item has to do what I want it to do. So, my mother was looking for a digital camera. Now, she can't figure out how to turn it on, let alone take a picture. So I'm trying to find her the most idiot-proof camera that, nobody's got to take good pictures. I'm like, you don't even know what a megapixel is, you know? Just trying to find the best camera that was in the right price range and this, that, and the other thing. So, we got her a camera. When it came time to upgrade to get the camera, I ended up getting the same exact camera. Maybe it was because I had done that research for her that this just sort of fell into that range. But this camera is like the next model, so it's just a smidge better. But this is the Nikon Coolpix. I like the fact that it's red. I just love the shade of red. It's not like midlife crisis red. It's just a nice, cool, understated red. But that's just But like I said with the other camera, the Canon, this one, the battery compartment and the chip compartment are the same compartment. So basically, every time you want to if you have multiple chips, you fill up one memory and you want to do the next memory, you have the risk of losing your batteries, which to me is just inconvenient. And the door isn't all that wonderful as far as the, being able to close it easily. Sometimes it's good, like then I just did it perfectly fine. Sometimes I have to struggle with it. So I hate the idea that the card and the battery are in the same spot. The zoom is a little questionable. It kind of hiccups as you zoom, and you can kind of hear the as it's zooming, which has been mentioned in some of the reviews. But personally, I would just be, if I can, I'd rather just walk up to the thing and then forego the zoom entirely. But sometimes, if you're not going to climb Everest just to get a close-up shot type of thing, But that's kind of eh. I love the 3-inch screen. Love the big screen. Which was a total plus. For some weird reason, the Canon was more complicated than the Coolpix, yet this one I find more confusing. For some weird reason, I expect this button here, which is the delete button, to accomplish every function on the camera. For some weird reason, I just instinctively go to that button. I do not know why, even though I know that button tells you what mode you want to put it in, that one views what you've already taken. Somehow, I just want to push that button. This is what I've been filming my previous videos on, and it takes 30-minute videos. Now, I'm still not quite sure if it takes only 30 minutes regardless of the amount of memory on your card, because I was using 4 gig, or does it take increments of 30-minute videos? Like, it will stop after 30 minutes, but it will take like an hour video if you have a higher card. I don't know. I can't find information anywhere on this whatsoever as far as that's concerned. But it was kind of annoying taking the video, filling up the thing, going, downloading, coming back. So that was kind of annoying. So I'm like, I want an actual camcorder. So that's why I'll be using this still for like still shots and quickie movies, you know, things that you want an actual still photo camera for. But it's nice to have that movie function. I wanted a camcorder I could take outdoors when we do our walks or when we go someplace interesting that's not so obvious that you have a camera in your hand. Of course, if you're vlogging and you're doing this, of course, people are going to kind of think you're weird, so it's kind of redundant whether you have whatever it is you have in your hand you're talking to, but because somehow I think if you have like an iPhone or something like that, camera doesn't seem to draw as much attention as if you had an actual, it looks like a camera in your hand. I don't know if you're a vlogger, tell me if you feel the same way, I don't know. But to me it would just seem a little more obvious. Of course, the fact that your camera is bright red might not, but one, I can't afford an iPhone, though I would really like one. But, you know, I was looking for a camcorder in that sort of shape and style. So, since I didn't want to take that camera around walking, we always take, you know, our cell phones with us. Now, I had to get this cell phone, this is like a whole separate ramp here, because I had gone through every single track phone from the bottom up. The first track phone into the second, they gave me batteries every time it died. Then for some weird reason, they just magically decided, well, it's, you know, past warranty, you can't get a new battery. And I told 2 different people, mind you, you have been replacing my battery for the past couple years with the same phone. That's definitely past warranty. Plus, this particular battery's only like $2, and they'd been shipping it to me free, so I don't know what the hell happened there. So I'm like, they won't give me a battery. Well, I needed a phone. So I figured, well, if I'm going to get a new phone, might as well upgrade. So this is like the most expensive phone you can get in Walmart for the track phone. And I love the track phone. It's just easy for me. And this is the LG 500. And the one thing I like is that I can actually call out of Walmart now. No phone previously, except maybe the Verizon, was able to call out of the Walmart, regardless of what Walmart it was. Because I figured the buildings were made out of lead and they wouldn't let you, like, you know, call for help. I don't know. You could never get a call out of Walmart. This calls out of Walmart. Major plus. So, this has a camera in it. It's a 1.3 megapixel. And if you see my first vlog, the world's most boring vlog, that's what I'm on. And it's like, sort of like a mosaic when you watch it, so I can, yeah, 1.3, yeah. Well, I'm like, well, I want a camera I can take with me that's this shape, that's better than a 1.3 megapixel. Okay, so I go shopping. So I'm looking at the low-end kids cameras, I come to find out. So I bought the Vivitar 441, I think it was. I'm talking to the guy in Walmart, and I think he was just overwhelmed with the fact that I was talking in specifics and knew what I was trying to get and what I was talking about. So I'm like, well, I want this, 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 that, and the other thing. It's like, well, they had the Vivitar 440 or 441, 400 series anyway. But didn't tell you what the megapixels were. So he goes and it's like, well, I can look it up for you. Oh, it's a 5 megapixel. Take it home, and I'm like, I want to like dig into it a little more, see some reviews, now that I got the package and know what to kind of ask. Avoid Vivitar like the plague. Take the advice. None of the reviews were good. I didn't even open the package, mind you. I wanted to, you know, check it out first before I even bothered tried it. Come to find out it was a 1 megapixel. So I'm like, okay, that's going back. Now, this is the one he told me that the first one was going to be. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll... And it was only like $4 or $5 more. This was about $30, I think. Now, for 30 frickin' bucks, I expected a little better quality. You can get away with it. It's a good beginner camera. If your kid is starting into photography or videography, this is probably a good deal. It's a 4 digital zoom, which, yeah. Now this is the Vivitar DVR 882 HD. Maybe I don't quite grasp the HD quality off of this particular camera, because this one I did test out because it was a 5.1, and I figured I wanted it to be better than this. It was, but this takes VHS quality videos. But still, I think people were expecting, you know, Steven Spielberg type cameras. You've got the 2-inch display, which was good. This one has the, again, pop-out little USB function, which I guess is like a standard kind of feature now. And it's a really good idea, in a way, depending on where your USB is on your computer. Because if you can't lay it down, aren't you just adding that extra weight to the USB? And wouldn't that kind of like wear it out, or, you know, hooking it up to a laptop is good because you're right there on the table and it can rest. But if you're on a desktop, as I found, you have to hook it in this way, or at least the one that I'm filming on now. And it's just, you got the weight of the camera hanging off the USB, so I don't know. Any ideas? Comment below. I liked the interface, simple buttons, pretty brain dead. Just, camera just did not meet up to my standards, and we'll be going back Monday. Now I went to Kmart, as I said previously, to look for a card, and came out with a camcorder. Now they had 2 camcorders displayed, and they were the pocket cams that I was looking for. And they had one that was a Kodak, that was sort of a tough one. I think it was like you could go swimming with it, or something to do with like underwater. I personally wouldn't need to do that, but it would be nice to know that your camera won't melt in the rain. I don't know. But they had that one, and then they had this one, the Flip Video. And this was clearanced. And it was originally $150. But it was on clearance for $59.99, which for me is still a big chunk of change. But I'm like, well, okay, I'll look it over. And, you know, like I said, the original one was like $30. But I'm like, if I can get a camera that fits my criteria, I'll pay that little extra money. So I'm like, you know, that's $100 off. That's a pretty damn good deal. And I like the fact that I could actually have this in my hand and toy with it and test it. And I kind of liked what I saw. It was beyond simple. You have only, well, I'll consider it 4 buttons. You got your play button, your delete button, your, you know, volume, zoom control, and your record button. Plus you got a pretty decent screen. Now this is 4 GB internal memory, which kind of sucks that you can't expand the memory, but it takes 2 hours worth of video. 2 hours of video. And I'm like, 2 blades. Now, it didn't say anything on the camera as far as, you know, what the megapixels were or anything like that, and it still doesn't really, but it is a H.264 video, and it records an MP3. It comes with software that has like no editing ability whatsoever, and you can't quite just drag and drop. You save your video to your computer, and then you can drag it to your video software, and then, you know, go crazy. Little extra step, but, you know, once you get used to it, it's not a problem. But it's only a VGA 640 480 at 30 FPS, which supposedly is really impressive as far as the 30 is concerned. So this is not the high def one, this is just the standard. Now I was testing the video function of this camera next to the Coolpix camera as far as video quality is concerned. Now with this one, it seems that there's a grainy quality to it that I can pick up. Now maybe it's just me, because if you blow it up full screen, you can kind of see the grainy quality to it. So I haven't yet tested this out outside as far as, you know, walk. Well, I haven't, you know, as far as like distant shots and things like that. I've managed to do like close-ups of me and, you know, just sort of walking around, and so far the quality isn't that bad. But when I compared the two together indoors under this particular lighting, the flip camera is actually truer to the color than this is, because this picks up the yellow in the room. When you're taking a still shot, there's indoor setting, and that usually takes out the yellow in your lighting. This doesn't when you're filming. This does. And I was really impressed with that, actually. So I'm like, you know, I'll forgo the kind of grainy-ishness to it, since it's like true to color. I mean, this camera is pretty good. It's powered by 2 AA batteries, and I've seen on like the reviews where like, what were they thinking? You know, 2 AA's, once they're dead, they're dead. That's why you bring extra batteries with you, people. I mean, are these the people that only go filming with 1 pair of batteries? Me, I have a whole case full. You can never have too many batteries. I mean, ever since the Canon, that's what I've done. I've always had spare batteries, and that would go through batteries like nothing. This one actually had a setting where you can dictate what type of batteries you have, whether it's your regular kind, your NIM batteries, which, the battery life is pretty decent. I don't know if it's doing that or not. This doesn't have that function, but I'm still seeing a little red light, and I've been babbling on for quite some time, so I don't know if it'll last like the entire 2 hours, but you know, we'll see. And these are just the batteries that came with it. I usually use the rechargeable batteries. You can buy a rechargeable battery pack, which I guess is just the 2 rechargeable AA's in like a single package that I've seen. Just the same, just buy yourself a pack of rechargeable batteries and, you know, have fun. Now, I've also recorded video. The tornado walk, or the storm walk video that I put up was done on this thing. Now, I'm actually amazed at the camera quality on this. This is an iPod 5th generation, I think, which I got from my niece, because she wanted the 6th generation. I'm like, hell, I'm just happy it plays music. You know, I got an MP3 player, which I thought was, ooh, high tech. But, I cannot find any information on the camera of the iPod 5th generation as far as the megapixels or anything like that. Even on the Apple website, they don't tell me anything. It's a really good camera, and the audio picks up pretty good, so I was kind of actually, when I was looking for the hand camera, kind of comparing it to this. Now, I don't ever hope to actually be like a top-of-the-line impressive vlogger. I'm lucky if, you know, 2 people watch my videos, but I figured, what the hey. Now, when we go walking, I always have this with me. Just one, it's the pedometer. There's a pedometer on this, and I like listening to music, drowning out insane conversation. And the only problem I have, which other people have said too, is that the camera is in the dumbest possible place. That's where you film out of. This is how you manipulate the iPod. I mean, there's no real way to... Now, I'm not sure... I think I was holding it this way, just because it's a little more easier to not film and get your fingers in the way. But if you're filming, the camera should be up here, not in the middle of your palm. I mean, what are you doing? This? Steve Jobs could have done a better job. But the problem is, I like listening to the music, but you have to stop the music, go through the camera, da-da-da-da-da. So it's annoying, basically. So if you have to use a camera and don't want to listen to music, basically, you know. So I wanted, you know, to be able to listen to my music and film at the same time. So if I actually get the other cameras, I'll see maybe, but I'm probably going to keep this one. I mean, that's my only problem, is like that grainy quality. Maybe because it's not high def. I don't know if it's just this particular camera, though it has been mentioned in the reviews that other cameras do have a kind of grainy quality. But I don't know. I'm always on the hunt for something better. And of course, by the time you get it, you know, it's time to get something new. Okay, so that's it for my camera haul, rant, show and tell. If you have any suggestions on any good quality cameras in, say, about the $50, $60 range, tell me below and I'll look into them, and thanks for watching.